Hey, good morning, guys.
Yeah, hi sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we'll start our session in a couple of minutes. 18 people have joined so far. Let's wait for a few more folks and
Good
then
morning, sir.
good morning. For automation, today we are going to start with automation. So I'll give you introduction on automation and a few terminologies also I'm going to give. But one thing for automation practice and all, we need to have our own laptop. So in mobile we cannot practice automation scripting part because we already know uh, how this is going to be, and we already know how this practice should be, right? So that's one of the important thing that you need to remember before going to uh, get into the practice and all. Okay, so that's one of the mandatory thing which I'm expecting from you. I'm not too sure. That's my expectation, but I don't know about your situations and all. But still, if you want to go with the practice, at least basic configuration is mandatory to understand how it works and how the scripting can be designed. Okay, so that's one thing that's one suggestion that I want to give before going to get into that concept. And the next thing will be we'll go on step by step, like how the scripting can be started, right? If I'm going to explain you like directly into the scripting, you may not be able to understand how it works in the real time, right? So that's not the thing that we are going to discuss directly here. We'll go from the introduction part and we'll try to understand how the scripting works, and how the uh, scripting can be designed and all. We'll see it one by one. Okay. Mm, let's see, 1 second. I just need a couple of minutes. I need to
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Okay, fine. Let's start with our automation introduction. I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if you are able to see it. I hope it's visible. Okay, fine. Automation introduction. Okay, I'm not going to start about the concept of Selenium directly. We'll start with our understanding on the automation and then we'll go to Selenium. Okay, so first of all, we know already what testing has been categorized into two types. One is manual testing and second one is test automation. So manual testing is nothing but it's an activity performed by the QA team, in-person activity they are going to perform without using any software. But automation is something like where the application testing can be performed by using another software. This is how we have defined during our demo or during our initial training sessions, right? I hope you guys remember this point. Anyone have any questions in this? Now, in the same on the same note, automation is something like where the activities has to perform automatically. It's a simple understanding on how this automation works. Nowadays, uh, if you listen a word called home automation, like anyone constructed a new house and they're going to have that modular kitchen and automatically the sensor related lights are going to work, and even remote fans are also there, remote coolers are also there. So these are all something like where it is going to have automatic, and one of the best example I can say is inverter or generator. Whenever our power went off, automatically inverter will come into the picture and automatically it is going to supply the power. This kind of activities or realistic activities what we have seen so far is nothing but home automation we can call. But in the same format, even in automation also the same thing, in software also we are having the same point. Okay, so let's say I'm the person who is working in a company and I don't have that much time to test the application again and again and again. Today I'm going to test the application, tomorrow I can test, day after tomorrow I can test continuously. If the same application is coming for testing for 10 days or 15 days or 20 days, I cannot bear that. Why? Because maybe the continuous testing of same application will leads to missing of some test case executions or something like that. So repetitive activity will be there and time consumption will be there. On these 2 points, automation has been introduced into the market. On these 2 points, so where the repetitive work will be there and where the time consumption will be there. So continuous unnecessary time, continuous application testing again and again. So all these are the factors where automation has been introduced into the market. Before Selenium, we have few other automation tools. Before Selenium, we have other automation tools. So I cannot say all the names here now, but before Selenium, we have QTP we have, and before Selenium, we have some plugins we are having. But overall, if we can say before Selenium, QTP is one of the market leading automation tool, I can say. QTP, which is nothing but nowadays we are calling it as UFT, Quick Test Professional or Unified Functional Tester. Okay, this is the definition of QTP or UFT. Okay, so initial days this has been introduced into the market. This is being developed by the company called HP, and it's a commercial one. If you want to use the software, you have to purchase it. It's not free of cost. You cannot download it from Google, or you cannot get it from anywhere else. Either you or your company has to purchase. It might be around $1,200 or $1,300 per license per software. You have to purchase from them, and then you have to make use of the features in QTP or EFT. But overall, if you are thinking about automation perspective, QTP or EFT is one of the market leading automation tool which we have. But how this works, let me give you few points on QTP or EFT, so that you'll come to know how Selenium comes into the picture. This is a commercial. We need to purchase a license. Supports IE browser completely and may have browser compatibility issues in remaining browsers. Supports Windows operating system. That means you can install this software only in Windows operating system. Linux, Unix, Mac, all these operating systems will not support this QTP or EFT. Okay, and it's a commercial thing to have this software, and it supports IE browser. That means if you are using this QTP or EFT to automate your application, then your application should allow, or the application should be displayed only in IE browser. Rest of the browsers may have, like Google Chrome or Firefox, may have compatibility issues. Look and feel or alignment may be disturbed, so that might not work in the real time. So that's one of the main reason. These three are the main points of QTP or EFT. Just remember these 3 points, and whenever we talk about Selenium, we will compare these 3 points with Selenium points, so that you'll come to know why Selenium comes into the picture. Okay. So the initial point will be for repetitive work. To avoid the repetitive work, one is automation, they have find out, and second one is whenever we reduce the repetitive work, automatically the time will be reduced. So in order to make sure to avoid the repetitive work and to reduce the time, we have an automation into the market. Anyone have any questions up to here? Okay, fine. So after this QTP or EFT, after few days, Selenium people, the persons who are working on this particular package, the persons who wants to give more realistic features to the public, so they have started working on Selenium automation, test automation using Selenium. They use this word from some chemicals and all. That's a different history chapter that's not required for us now. But still, Selenium is another automation platform that we have into the market, where QTP or UFT is the first one, and Selenium is the next launched test automation platform that we have. So initially, when Selenium comes into the picture, they have released only Selenium IDE. Selenium IDE. The persons who invented Selenium, they released Selenium IDE, which is nothing but integrated development environment. Integrated development environment. They released only Selenium IDE. The persons who developed this Selenium IDE or complete Selenium package is from ThoughtWorks company. ThoughtWorks, and this QTP or UFT is from HP. Mercury first one. Mercury has been acquired by HP. Okay, so Selenium IDE. So the initial version of Selenium package is Selenium IDE. Before going to understand Selenium IDE in detail, you have to know three terms here. One is tool or software. Second one is, we already discussed about these two terms, plugin. So tool or software. Tool or software is nothing but it's an application which is having limited features to perform the required actions. Platform. No limit in the features. Users can develop more as per the requirements. User can develop more actions, I can say. Plugin. It's an extra feature to the existing software or application or browser. Okay, it's an extra feature, so where we can get that extra feature from the browser plugin. So here, do you have any questions on these three definitions? Anyone have? Because we are using this term now. Are we clear? Fine. Okay. So these three are the terms that we need to understand before going with Selenium IDE. So initially this Selenium IDE is nothing but integrated development environment. It's a plugin. It acts like a plugin for Firefox browser. Latest version supports both Chrome and Firefox. So in the earlier stages, whenever Selenium IDE released into the market, the initial browser, the initial plugin version has supported to only Firefox browser. But latest version of Selenium IDE supports both Chrome browser and Firefox browser. So by the way, what is mean by integrated development environment? So why we have this term? Integrated development environment. Why we have this term? Why they have used this one? Let me tell you. Not only here, you can see Eclipse IDE. You can see any software editor, we can call it as a IDEs only. So those are nothing but editors. Here we are talking about environment. Why we are calling it as integrated development environment? First, understand what is mean by environment. Environment is nothing but it's a medium of communication. Environment is nothing but it's a medium of communication between two opposite persons. Let's say right now uh, I'm just explaining what is meant by test automation. You guys are listening. What is the medium of communication between you and me? Zoom call is the whatever the Zoom link that you are using is the medium of communication, right? When you click on that link, you are able to see this window and um, you are able to listen my whatever the explanation that I'm giving. So it's a medium of communication between two persons, two or more persons, I can say. Development, using that medium of communication, we are developing something like in Selenium IDE what we are talking about. So what we are going to develop, we are going to develop automation scripts. We are going to develop automation scripts. What is meant by integrated? We all know what is integration testing, right? So what is meant by integration there? Anyone? Fine. So integrated is nothing but the all features of Selenium is being integrated into a single plugin. That's the reason I have correlated this particular point with integration testing. Integrating all the modules into a single unit is nothing but integration testing. Testing of all the integrated modules into single unit is nothing but integration testing. Likewise, here also all the features has been integrated here itself in Selenium IDE. So that's one of the main reason, as we have integrated all the features here, so we call it as integrated, and we are using it for developing the automation scripts. We are calling it as development environment. Environment is nothing but it's a medium of communication. So in Selenium IDE perspective, or to automate a project, to automate an application and the user, between user and the application, to automate it, Selenium IDE is the environment that we are going to use. Selenium IDE is the environment that we are going to use. Right? Any questions anyone have? Fine. So now we will see how this Selenium IDE works in the real time, and how can we install Selenium IDE into Chrome browser, and where it is going to be available, and what are all the features that are included in Selenium IDE, and all we'll see one by one. But before going to that, as we are talking about the introduction part between Qtp and Selenium, let's talk about the remaining three services as well, and then we'll go to IDE download. Remote control. Remote control. So it's something like where this is the second version of Selenium package. This is the second product that has been released into the market after Selenium IDE. There are few drawbacks in Selenium IDE. To avoid such kind of drawbacks, Selenium RC comes into the picture. To avoid the drawbacks in Selenium IDE, they have sorry, excuse me. They have implemented the extra features in Selenium RC, and they have released Selenium RC into the market. I mean to say, they means here the authors, the persons who designed this Selenium suite, okay, Selenium package. So Selenium RC is completely an outdated version. No one is using right now in the market. Why? Because the features of Selenium IDE are very less. The advantages of Selenium IDE, sorry, Selenium RC is very less when compared to IDE. So here they try to fix the drawbacks which are there in Selenium IDE, but they failed here. The team failed here. So it is something like where it is not completely suitable or user friendly to the market. So that's one of the main reason no one is using Selenium RC right away. But the features of Selenium RC and Selenium IDE has been transferred into Selenium WebDriver. Features of Selenium IDE and Selenium RC transferred to Selenium WebDriver. When they released Selenium WebDriver initially, the version is called Selenium 2.0, which includes Selenium IDE plus Selenium RC plus all drawbacks fixes plus new features. All these combinedly has formed a tool called Selenium WebDriver 2.0 as a version. Now this has been improved a lot. The lot new features and everything has been developed into the Selenium WebDriver, and they have released it into the market. So how this Selenium WebDriver released into the market and how we can get it and all, we'll see. There is an official website called seleniumhq.org. Okay, Selenium HQ, or now the selenium.dev also is available. You can navigate to any of the websites, selenium.dev or seleniumhq.org. Any of the website is fine. So if you can scroll down, you can see Selenium IDE, Selenium Grid and WebDriver. You cannot see Selenium RC into this list. Why? Because it is completely outdated. If you click on this one, Selenium WebDriver, read more, you can see all the documentation related to Selenium WebDriver. So what are the actions it is going to have and what are the browser interactions that it is going to have. So it's something like basic documentation you can see. If you click on downloads, you can see Selenium server. Selenium server. Don't confuse here. Grid means it can be applicable for both WebDriver and Grid. So that's the reason they have mentioned. If you can observe here, Selenium WebDriver in the brackets, you can see Grid as well. The latest version of Selenium WebDriver is 4.7.2 now. 4.7.2. If you want to see few more documentation related things, you can click on the documentation and you can see all the topics has been covered on basic level. Okay, fine. If you can click on this one, you can see 4.7.2. So here the initial version is Selenium 2.0, and you have to be very careful whenever you are seeing this website or whenever you are attending the interview, because the latest version will be released into the market very frequently. Very frequently. Don't think that okay, today Selenium 4.7.2 is there, maybe it will take another 1 year or 2 years to release the new version. No, maybe tomorrow also they are going to release Selenium 4.8. We don't know, right? So you should be very careful and make sure that you are going to review that website very frequently. Selenium.dev. Okay, this is how Selenium WebDriver comes into the picture. And Selenium Grid. Okay, here one more point can be used to design and execute automation scripts. Can be used to design and execute automation scripts. You can design the automation scripts and you can execute it in using Selenium WebDriver. Coming to Grid. Grid is only for execution. Only for execution. Only for automation script execution. Why? Here we already have, right, automation script execution in Selenium WebDriver. Why we have another separate tool or separate package only for execution? Why? There should be some difference between Selenium WebDriver and Grid execution. Without the difference, why we have this separate package into the market, right? There is no matter of having this. So what is the difference between Selenium WebDriver execution and Grid execution then? Let me tell you. Try to understand this point very carefully. in Selenium WebDriver, okay, in Selenium WebDriver, let's say how many persons are there in our group now? 25 people are there, right? So maybe everyone is using Windows operating system. Most of the folks are using Windows operating system. Might be one or two they are using Mac, one or two they are using Linux. I cannot say everyone is 100% you should have Windows, but it's up to you. If you have any other operating system, it's up to you. Let's say suppose I have designed 100 automation scripts. I have designed 100 automation scripts. I want you all, like you people, have to execute same 100 automation scripts in your system as well. Did you understand this point? I have 100 automation scripts. I want you to execute the same 100 automation scripts in your system. Then what will be the process that you are going to follow? Anyone? How can I give my automation scripts to you? What is the medium? How can I transfer that? Did you understand my question?
No, sir. Can.
I have 100 automation scripts in my local system.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want you to execute those 100 automation scripts in your system. In your system also. Okay. If you want to execute, there are two things. Either you have to design those 100 again, or else I have to send those documents to you. Right? Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you want to execute all those 100, if you want to execute all those 100 automation scripts or 100 programs, there are two ways. One is either you have to design, or else I have to share those scripts to you, share those programs to you. That means if you guys want to execute the automation scripts in your system personally, that means we have to share it manually, or else you have to download it and you have to execute it. That means my system, your 25 missions, whoever are there in this group now, 25 missions are not depending on my system. You are depending on my automation scripts only. If I'm going to share those automation scripts to you, you can execute it a number of times. You can execute it at any time you want. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let's say I have Windows operating system. I can execute it in today morning. Let's say I'm going to execute that around 9 o'clock now. So you have Mac operating system, you can execute it in the afternoon time. Someone is having Linux, you can execute it in evening time. So there is no matter at what time you are executing, it's up to you. If you want to execute it at around 9 o'clock, you can execute it, no one will stop you. Okay, but overall concept is, if the same scripts are executing in multiple missions, there is no dependency between, there is no link between one system and another system. Every execution is individual here in Selenium WebDriver. Okay, if I'm going to execute 100 scripts, it is executing in my system only. It will not wait for your system to be executed. If you are executing, then your system is going to have that execution cycle, so you will not be waiting for my execution. Right? Did you understand this point? That means whenever you want to execute automation scripts using Selenium WebDriver, the operating system works as a independent kind of stuff. It will not depending on any other user, or it will not depending on any other operating system. Right? Understand how this Selenium WebDriver execution works?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And now coming to the point of grid. Coming to the point of grid. So how this grid works? Grid is nothing but, grid always works with the concept of parent and child, or host and node. Okay, grid. parent and child or host and node concept. Grid always works in this concept. That means that means suppose I have Windows operating system. Node 1, node 2, node 3, node 4, node 5. Let's say node 1 is having Mac, Ubuntu, Linux, again Mac, again Windows. Okay, so let's say we are 25 people, right? I'm just taking the example of first 5 persons in this group. So let's say Arun is having my Mac operating system, Balabhargav is having Ubuntu, and Chandra Kumar is having Linux, and Manasa is having Mac, and then Jyoti Banu Harish is having Windows again, right? So you 5 people will have these operating systems. These operating systems means you have the laptops with these operating systems, and I have Windows operating system, and I have Windows operating system. Now I want to execute my 100 automation scripts in all the operating systems at a time. If I click on run button in my host system, in my Windows operating system host system, in my host system, automatically it has to execute. Automatically it has to execute in other operating systems also, in nodes also, like node 1 also it has to execute, node 2 it has to execute, node 3 it has to execute. That means it's not in a sequential order, it should be in a parallel order. If I click on run button here, automatically the execution has to happen parallelly in all the nodes what I have mentioned here. Understood the difference between WebDriver execution and grid execution? In WebDriver there is no dependency at all. Okay, every execution is individual. If you want to execute in any operating system, it's up to you. You have to configure and you have to execute it. That's it. There is no dependency at all. But in grid there is a dependency. If you want to run in different operating system, you have to configure the host and you have to configure the nodes. So irrespective of operating system, so if you want to configure node with Mac, you have to concentrate on that. So after configuring, I have Windows, I did a mistake. No, it won't recognize all those things. Whatever operating system that you have given, the duty of Selenium Grid is it is going to execute the script in all the node systems what you have attached to this one. Right? This is called parallel execution. This is called parallel execution. One note point here is if you want to execute like this host and node concept parallelly, here all operating systems, all the missions should be under same network, should be under same network. Let's say I'm here in some location, you guys are in some other location, you guys are in some other location, everyone is in some different location. Then if I want to run the automation scripts using Selenium Grid, means no, it won't work, because you are using different network, I'm using different network, another person is using different network, right? If we are using different networks, how can we give that justification on executing parallelly? So we cannot execute it parallelly at that time, right? Any questions?
No, sir. No, sir.
Fine. Now let's see how Selenium IDE and QTP or UFT are having the features, and why we are going with Selenium, and why the complete market is on Selenium nowadays. So everyone, 99% of the market is using Selenium only. 1% they are using some different tools internally what they have developed, but not QTP or UFT at all. So why we are using Selenium when compared to QTP or UFT? Let's see the difference between both the things. Only few differences I'll tell you, which are very useful for us to understand why Selenium, and rest of the things are very basic things which we can ignore at this point of time. Selenium, QTP or UFT. Selenium supports all operating systems. Supports all browsers. Supports multiple programming and scripting languages. Let's have these 3 points here. Supports Windows operating system only. Supports IE completely. And rest may have browser compatibility issues, as I mentioned earlier. Supports VB, Visual Basic scripting only. Okay, so these are the main features of Selenium and QTP or UFT. Okay, and then so multiple programming or scripting languages I have mentioned here, right? So what are those? Java, C#, Perl, Python, Ruby, PHP, JavaScript. All these programming and scripting languages can be supported to Selenium. Now, if you can see these points, which one is having more advantages? You need not learn all the programming or scripting languages here. Only one is fine. Any one of the programming or scripting language is fine for us to automate a project. But in order to understand how this works, that we will see in our regular training sessions. But when compared to these points, Selenium is having more features, more advantages than QTP or UFT. One of the main thing I forgot here, free of cost, commercial. Here we can call this as a open source. We can call this as a open source, means it's a free of cost. No need to purchase that one. Okay, so based on these 4 points, we can say Selenium is more comfortable, because all operating systems means few companies may have Mac, few companies may have Linux, few companies may have Windows. So if this supports Windows only, then remaining users may not use Selenium, right? So that's one of the main reason, as it supports all operating systems, one of the best feature it is having, and it supports all the browsers. And no, like there is no mandatory that everyone should have knowledge on all the programming and scripting languages mentioned here. Few may have Java, few may have Python, few may have C Sharp, few may have JavaScript. We don't know. So no need to learn all programming and scripting languages. It's up to the user, which one user knows they can automate by using that programming or scripting language. But here, if you want to automate a project, you must have knowledge on Visual Basic. So Visual Basic is somehow old technology that we have, but no one is using right now. Visual Basic completely. Okay, so that's the reason QTP is having less, very less users than Selenium IDE, Selenium nowadays into the market. Every software will have advantages as well as disadvantages, right? Every software will have advantages as well as disadvantages. Likewise, Selenium is also having disadvantages, but that will not impact on your work. Those are disadvantages will not impact on your work. What are those disadvantages? Are,
It,
yeah, tell me.
it will be support only web-based applications.
Okay. QTP or UFT supports?
Same. Sir.
No. Web and Windows applications it will support. So tomorrow your assignment will be this one only. What is the difference between web application, Windows application, web application, Windows or desktop applications, and mobile applications? Get the information on these three topics: web application, desktop or Windows based application, and mobile applications. Next point. No idea. Okay. Configuration or installation is complex when compared to other automation tools or platforms. Installation is simple and easy. Okay, next one. I'll explain this point. Auto upgrades are not possible as it is open source. Software will upgrade software will upgrade based on user needs and can happen automatically. Fine. So here the second point, configuration or installation is complex when compared to other automation tools or platform. Here QTP or EFT installation is simple and easy. So what is this meaning? Means for Selenium we have to download all the libraries and we have to download all the drivers and we have to download all supportive libraries to our system, and then we have to configure everything into a single space. That means wherever you are writing, suppose if you want to automate your project by using Java, you need to download Eclipse. Into the Eclipse, you have to configure all the libraries and drivers into that Eclipse IDE. So that's if any one of the library is going to miss, almost all the configuration, whatever you did will lost. Whatever the configuration that you did is going to, it's waste of your time, because even single library is very important in order to automate your project. So that's one of the main reason you should be very concentrated. You should have very keen observation on what type of libraries that you are configuring and what are all the things that you are going to configure during this installation process. Even duplicates will not allow. Even duplicates is not encouraged to have in the configuration. Here it is something like a software where you can double click on that particular software and automatically click on next button. Automatically the installation can be performed happily, and there is no need of configuring different libraries into a single space or something like that. This process is not there. It's simple installation file where you can install it very easily. And auto upgrade, suppose right now the version is 4.7.2, so tomorrow or whenever, so latest version is going to get released like around 4.8, then you have to download it manually and you have to configure it manually. So that's your duty to configure manually. So automatic upgrades are not going to happen in Selenium because it's a open source. Any open source tool will not give that feature of upgrading automatically. Why? Because in this open source is nothing but user intentionally downloaded that version. Okay, software is not stopping. User intentionally using that 4.7.2. If user wants to upgrade, user has to download it manually and user needs to upgrade it. Okay, in the same format, QTP or UFT, as it is a commercial one, it will send a notification. There is a upgraded software available if you want to install it. If you can click on yes, automatically that upgraded version will be installed into the mission, because it's a commercial one. It's not open source, it's a commercial one. You purchased it. You purchased it. So that's one of the main reason why this Selenium ID, why this Selenium is having more advantageous features than other automation tools that we have in the market. Understood the difference between Selenium and QTP or EFT?
Yeah, sir, understood.
Thank you. Okay, I'll show you how this Selenium IDE can be downloaded to our system. Go to Chrome browser, open your any browser, Chrome or Firefox, any browser is fine. So I'm just using Chrome browser, so for that reason I'm using the same thing. To show you, I'm just removing whatever I have in my mission. Go to Google, Selenium IDE for Chrome, you can type, you can see this one. Okay, so there is a website called chrome.google.com, which is a detailed one. Just click on this Selenium IDE, or else you can click on Selenium IDE Chrome Web Store. If you click on this, you can see this window, Chrome Web Store. Okay,
Sir, your screen not visible, sir.
is it not visible now? Sorry, let me reshare my screen again. Okay, so open your Google page. Sorry, search for Selenium IDE. IDE for Chrome. You can see this website. Okay, click on this Chrome Web Store you have, right? Click on this one. So this one is displaying. Okay, I just translated it to Google English. Okay, so you have this one here. If your browser is already having this Selenium IDE, then you can see remove option here. If your browser is not having Selenium IDE, then you can say add to. So in my Chrome browser, it is not available. So that's the reason it is showing add to. When I click on add to, it will ask you a pop-up saying if you want to download and add this extension to your browser or not. Click on add extension. Once you click on add extension, this extension will be downloaded and it will be saved to your Google Chrome browser. Where you can see this extension is once after you downloaded this one, you have this icon, extensions icon. If you can click on this, you can see this one, Selenium IDE. If you can click on this Selenium IDE, Selenium IDE software will be open. Okay, so 3.17.2 is the version that we are using now. Okay, so we all have all these features in Selenium IDE and we are going to use each and every feature of Selenium IDE. So make sure you are going to use this Selenium IDE for your practice purpose and be ready with this one. And I'm going to stop the session for today. Still, I'm not feeling well with this throat pain. So I do not want to avoid the session. So that's the reason at least I just took the session for 1.5 hours. So today. So tomorrow I'll continue with the features of Selenium IDE and we'll start with the basic scripting part using Selenium IDE. And then we'll see how the features can be used and how the scripts can be executed multiple times using Selenium IDE. Okay. Any questions? Jyoti, anything that you want to talk? Are you there? Jyoti K. Okay. And one more thing, I have received the test cases yesterday, as I mentioned. I have reviewed few of them. There are few updates that are required for your test case, like I can say spell mistakes, and then I can say the representation part has to be upgraded. The representation needs to be more very interactive and user friendly, and it should be more impressive. So those few things that I still observed, so those things that upgrades are required, we'll see. And I could see this assignments from, I'll list down the names first, and then if anyone is pending, I just want to know why those are pending. Okay, so I could see Bhargav, Chandrakumari, Harika, K. Venkataramesh, Koteshwar Rao, Madhavi, Nagaratnam, Arun Kumar, Pradeep, Pratyusha, Srinivas, Suman Yadav, Iram Shetty Shivagopi, Zahir. Only these guys I have in the list. Rest of the assignments I'm not able to see. I don't know why those were missed and where are those? Okay, talk to your lead.
Sir, I sent it through mail.
Sir, I sent to
Um,
that mail, sir.
that's what. Talk to them once again. Talk to your lead once again, or Jyoti once again. If they are going to give you any link, make sure you are going to upload those documents to that link.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so I have this drive link where I'm reviewing the assignment. So in that link, I have only these documents, these names I have. Rest of the people names are not available here. Okay, I think who else are pending? I can see Arun Kumar, we have Bhargav, we have Chandra Kumari, we have Manasa is missing. Manasa, we don't have. Jyoti Banu, I don't know, that person joined and left the meeting. So Jyoti Banu, and then Harika we have. Harika we have, and then Konanki Chandu missing this one. Koteshwara we have. Koteshwara Dulipala is missing.
I'll be sent, madam.
Did you share it already?
Yes, sir.
Okay, talk to them once again and upload it to share this one, Google Drive, whatever the link that they are going to give it to you.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Naveen Kumar, we don't have. OnePlus Nord 2 5G, I don't know name. Pooja Edla, we don't have. Pravalika, we don't have. Raghumaram, we don't have. Sahita, we don't have. Sai Krishna, we don't have. Sai Krishna, we don't have. Shivraj Palakurti. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just listing down whoever is not available in this documents link. So that's the reason you can talk to your lead or Jyoti to upload it one more time or to send them one more time and ask them to upload to Drive, so that at least I can get those documents to this list before completing this review. Okay. So there are a lot of documents missing. Maybe you have already shared, but still talk to them. Okay, so we'll go through in one of the session, maybe in this week, on Thursday or Friday. Meanwhile, I'll complete the review and I'll put the review comments over there.
Oh,
So any questions? Is it clear automation side today? Because from day one onwards, it's very important in automation for us. So if you have any questions, please do let me know. Jyoti, are you there, Jyoti?
yes.
Yeah, so I'm dropping off from the session today as well. Still, it is becoming more for me, throat infection. So tomorrow also I'll take the session at the same time. So if I'm feeling well, then I'll continue for 2 hours tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll continue at least 1.5 hours tomorrow as well. Okay.
Okay.
And there are few documents which are missing in the Drive link, Jyoti, which I have listed down the names today. So maybe they are going to send those documents to you or to their leads. We need to have to be placed in that Drive link only. Maybe Thursday or Friday, I'm going to have the review session with them.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Meanwhile, who are shared, I'll share with that link. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Have a nice day.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Bye.